How can you become a mid to high six-figure earner as a Christian? It's a topic I'm going to be covering in this video, as well as a lesson from the book that I'm reading, 38 Letters from J.D. Rockefeller to His Son, about making money and what the Bible has to say about it. If you guys find value in this message, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share it with a friend. And so this letter starts off by saying, "Let money be my slave, but do not let me be a slave of money." And so J.D. Rockefeller tells a story in this letter to his son where one day he was at church and this poor gardener approaches him and basically wants his thoughts or advice on a question that he had for him. And he basically says, "Listen, I read in the Bible that money's the root of all evil. And so as a result, I'm basically choosing to remain poor." And J.D. Rockefeller quickly corrects him and tells him, no, it's not that money is the root of all evil, but it's the lust for money, which is the root of all evil, putting money before God. God needs to be first in our lives. So that's point number one. And then he goes on to tell them, those that say that they don't want to make money, it's not just only to justify the reason why they're not making money, but really what they're saying is that they don't want to serve their family, their friends, their community, etc. And if you think about it, it's true. The more income you make, the more that you're able to contribute to those that are around you. And so how can you do that as a Christian? If you're somebody who is soon to be graduating and not really sure, what career path to go down, or maybe you're somebody who just wants to become a better provider, how can you do that? And so based on my trajectory, really coming out of school without any sales experience, I got into sales really by first thing was create a LinkedIn. Second thing is, find entry-level positions, SDR, BDR, associate account executive. And in those positions, you'll start off making about $60,000 to $100,000 a year. You can make a little bit more. You also can make a little bit less. Those are just roundabout numbers. And you don't need any real sales experience. What you need is a story. And so the story that I put together was basically, listen, there was these traits that I developed as a Division I college football player. And this is how it's going to carry over well into life after sports. And I just got so good at putting the story together, and really believed in myself from the traits that I did develop. And you have to do the same. You may not have been a Division I college football player, but there definitely was some type of setback that you've had to overcome, a challenge, adversity, trait that you develop that can easily be carried over into the real world, into the corporate world, right? So you just got to think that through and put together a talk track that's going to help sell yourself to a future employer. My interview process was horrible. So when they asked about me and my story, I had that down packed at a certain point, but it took a number of interviews. I went on a ton of interviews that I did horrible on from the beginning. And then there was others that once I had my story down packed, things started to go better. But the company that I work for now, Thomson Reuters, I had a good first interview talking about myself. And then second interview came around talking about sales process. I had no idea what anything was about a sales process. And so I did terrible during that interview. And after that interview, what I think helped me stand out from others was that I was resilient in my follow-up. So I sent a ton of emails basically after that interview because one, I realized and recognized how bad I did. And so I wanted to address that. And the second thing that I did was I found a few articles that talked about how athletes do well in sales because of a number of traits that they develop. And so I put together, again, a number of emails and just was resilient in my follow-up. And it was probably about a month and a half later when I heard back, asking me to set up another interview. So obviously I set up that third interview. Things went well. Met my boss, who's also my boss now, in person. And I've been working at Thomson Reuters for the past 5 years. So if you start off as an SDR, BDR, associate account executive, expect to make, again, around 60 to 100,000 plus minus, those numbers. And then the trajectory from there. So I started off as an associate account executive. My first year I did 6 figures, made $100,000. My second year I quadrupled that. So in that same position as an associate account executive, I was able to quadruple my income in just a year. Then from there, I was promoted to an account executive. And I'm not entirely sure what the next step is, but as an account executive, you can expect to make anywhere from $150,000 to $550,000+ a year. You move up to a senior account executive, you could potentially make $1 million+ a year in some positions, I've heard. And I haven't been at those numbers yet. I'm not sure what the next step in my path is, but I do know that you can go from an account executive to a senior account executive, make potentially up to $1 million+ a year, or you can choose to go, the corporate trying to climb the corporate ladder. And again, I can only talk about what I've done so far, and that's what I did in order to put myself in a position where I can leverage the traits that I developed on the field to succeed off the field. I know you guys can do the same. If you have any questions about, the story that you're putting together, how you can try and leverage the traits that you've developed going through certain adversity, certain things that you've gone through and overcome, feel free to reach out. I'd be more than happy to try and help you any way that I can. Again, the main reason for this channel is to try and create a community and a network of Christians who are trying to help each other become the best versions of themselves. And so if you guys found value in this message, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Hey guys, if you found value in that last video, make sure to check this video out here down below. I think you'll find it very insightful. Would love to hear any feedback that you guys have. As always, thanks for watching. We really appreciate your time.